Hello, everyone, and welcome to part two of Army Veteran Breaks Code to New World Order. Listen, part one, I didn't expect it to even go as well as it did, but it's obviously going very well. Has a few thousand plays within a few days. I think we're on our fourth day now of it being uploaded to YouTube. So people are taking well to the information about the RFID technology that's being placed here through Proteus and Avery Dennison, and consequently our government. So take heed to that video. If you haven't seen part one, go to part one. Check it out. It's something that you definitely want to get knowledge about. You need to know about this RFID technology. I map out how it's going right now, like what's going on right now in the RFID technology, and how advanced they truly are as opposed to what we're hearing. It's a lot further than you think it is. So, and I just put an update on there the other day because I believe it was the Department of Defense put something out on a website regarding their RFID implants for veterans, and I'm a veteran, so I didn't take too kindly to that. But had another veteran send me that information. I looked it up, and lo and behold, this month of April 2014, they definitely put that out. So it's like we're living a modern day Repo Man movie here, especially with the advent of the Affordable Care Act, i.e., Obamacare. All right, let's see here. I want to get moving forward. I don't have a lot of time, but I have a lot of information to give you. Um, uh, you know, visit my website, whoissincere.com. That's my personal blog there, Tumblr. It's pretty cool. I have a lot of information here. You could possibly use it. Maybe you can't. I do music. So, music and marketing, you might find some stuff you're interested in. My tabs are here on the side. Also, visit secretnewworld.com. I have my video here of a new kind of digital economy that I'm going to be putting out that quite a few people that are in the know have been privy to. So if you're not in the know, you probably don't know this technology exists or what I'm teaching. So it's very beneficial to every U.S. citizen that's out there. I've been kind of living my life that way for the last few years. I'm not rich by any means, but I'm also not broke, and I'm not hurting, if you will. And I'm not bragging or anything because I don't have that much to brag, but I do. I believe in what I do, and I believe in the power of it. So you can make better decisions and you can make money, kind of how you want to make money or how you see the value of money. So let's get started. All right. If you're at this video, we're going to be talking today about something that's coming up on April 23rd, 24th. The event is called Grand Cross. Now, a lot of you guys may not know what the Grand Cross is. That's fine. It's pretty much, if you go to Wikipedia, if you go to Google and type in Grand Cross, it'll tell you what it is. And you'll be able to see, you'll come up with this page here and it'll let you know. Grand Cross is said to occur when, in astrology, a Grand Cross is said to occur when four planets are all separated from each other by square aspects 90 degrees apart. Now, that's what we're having happen on April 23rd and 24th. I'm not going to go into everything about the Grand Cross. You can read up on it. I don't have enough time to, because I'm going to be covering the Grand Cross. I'm going to be covering FEMA, as well as false flags, MH370, and the correlation to 9/11. I'm not really going to go too much into MH370 and the correlation to 9/11 because I believe that I'm just probably going to add a clip here to the description for two videos that I think you guys should see on it from an independent scientist that has already studied it. And I mean, it's just amazing what you find when the information is out there, and you have to get some intellectuals on some of the information because we don't all understand it, but they can bring it to light for us. And this lady just has astounding information. So, um, I don't want to get too far off topic. This is going to be a very kind of uh, quick kind of documentary tutorial YouTube thing. But I just have to get all of this out because so many strange things have been happening to me, and for some reason I've been afforded this information, and I want to bless whoever needs to see this information. So, here we go. Now, the Grand Cross is going to be happening April 23rd, 24th of this month. That's, a major astrological event. The last time that a Cardinal Grand Cross happened, I mean, it was, oh God, it was a long time ago. Okay? So I believe they said it's in the range of 750,000 years ago. We haven't seen it in our lifetime. Okay? So it's been a long time. Now, we also don't know what happens. We don't have an accurate, of course, there's no accurate documentation on what happens during an event like that because, I mean, it's just out of our scale of reach. There are many different theories about the Grand Cross. Many, many, many different theories. As far as when these planets align, they cause different energy fields, and that's what all of astrology is based on. Is these and that's what astronomers do. They study the stars and how the planets align and what energy fields it causes for people that were born in during certain times under certain moons and with certain star and sun signs. So I mean, this is a real thing that dates back to that predates actually all religions. So it's something that's been widely studied. Studying the stars has taught us a lot and has proven quite a few things to be true, and it actually guides most of our way of life if we haven't if we would have never studied the stars. So it does have a degree of validity when it comes to deciding things that are happening on Earth. All right. So this event that's happening, the Cardinal Grand Cross, it's happening again April 23rd, April 24th. It's a huge event. I mean, it's a huge event in astrology. Huge. Just go to YouTube and type in Cardinal Grand Cross. Go to Google, type in Cardinal Grand Cross. You're going to find out so much information about it. You just won't have time to go through it all. But do it anyway so you can get, more information. Now, based on the size of this event, I would say, everyone should know about it. We should all be looking towards the stars, just like when, on the news, if an eclipse is happening, they're sure to tell us, hey, look, an eclipse is happening. This is a cool thing. And if you're looking out your window, you might be able to get a view of it. However, a Cardinal Grand Cross is happening, and there hasn't been a drop on the news. Nothing. Nothing. You can ask anybody around you what a Cardinal Grand Cross is, and they won't know. But yet, in the world of astrology, they know. They know, and they are anxiously awaiting it. Now, it's not to say that a major event is going to happen in, biblical proportions, of biblical proportions that are going to be fulfilled, some kind of prophecy. No one's saying that. Do I believe in the Bible? Yes. Do I believe it was also tampered with by man? Yes. So I don't know what this event holds, but I know one thing. If you're going to find truth, you can't just find it in good, you have to find it in bad too. So, a lot of Christians may think that astrology is bad. I happen to think that it's good. I think that all knowledge is good. It's just depending on how you use it and utilize it for your life. With that being said, I'd like to move on from there. This is a huge event. Grand Cross, Cardinal Grand Cross. Now, I'm going to show you actually a picture that's of a lot of significance here. Let me see if I can get to it. If my computer will let me do it. Oh, there we go. Let's just move that out of the way. All right. This was taken this month, and as you know, we both know who these individuals are. That is the Pope, the current Pope, and that is the Queen. And the Queen has been the Queen for a while, so she needs no mention. Um, if you're looking at this picture, you are drawn to three things: one being the Pope, two being the Queen, and three being that huge painting in the room that takes up about 30% of the back wall and just happens to be centered, center mass between the Pope, almost center mass between the Pope and the Queen. This painting is significant in the fact that it is a depiction of the Cardinal Grand Crossing. This is a depiction of the Cardinal Grand Crossing. It's behind the Pope, it's behind the Queen. And around the same time, the Pope also met with Obama. This picture is not an accident, okay? In a time where we're looking at we're looking at the largest astrological event to ever happen to mankind, as we know it. There's no media coverage of it, but there's a picture of the Pope and the Queen in front of a painting in Vatican City that is depicting the Cardinal Grand Crossing that is happening this month. And it is the Pope's first time meeting the Queen since he's been Pope. Does that raise any eyebrows for anyone else? Does that raise any kind of questions? What's going on? What's happening? What are we looking at? Why is this happening? What is the significance of this event? Like I said, it doesn't have to be a hurricane. It doesn't have to be anything that would be a disaster. Anything like that. I mean, you just gotta ask yourself what's going on. So let's just move on. All right. Now this is huge. Now keep everything that I said in mind. All right. Now, the reason why I was able to find this is because an article broke on April 11th on a website, beforeitsnews.com. Good website to get great information on if you're looking to get it before anywhere else, because this is where I got it. And I mean, these guys are fast. Here is what's an accurate depiction of the Cardinal Grand Cross, and what the signs represent of the planets that are going to be all 90 degrees of where Earth is going to be. Earth will be centered here, and the four planets will be centered around Earth, all creating their unique form of energy. But we also know that that energy does translate into physical energy for a planet too, because we're noticing. Oh God, I mean, you see the news. Look at the weather. You're talking about 300 earthquakes off the coast of South America. I mean, I don't even know if Chile still exists anymore. We're not getting any coverage in the United States about it, just to be honest with you. So, I mean, at the end of the day, there's things that are going on that are just, I mean, the Indo-Australian plate is just completely shifting and moving and popping and cracking and causing all kinds of earthquakes, I mean, in diverse places. So, like I said, it's not really doesn't have to be biblical, but there's something that could be said about all this happening right now. You have to understand, the Earth is developed. I mean, we have a core, and that core produces energy, and that energy produces a magnetic field. And our magnetic field has been reduced drastically, and we don't understand why it's rapidly reducing. Um, we don't understand why our weather patterns are doing what they're doing. we should understand that we're messing it up because of programs like HARP, which is the government's form of weather modification, and different things like that. I'll get into all that stuff later. I mean, it's just so much, so many things that are corrupt that I can't even talk about all of them. I don't have time. This information is urgent that I'm giving you. This information is now. So, you know, Cardinal Grand Cross, 23rd, 24th April. Now, we're looking here, this is the article that broke on it, and you see them there in Vatican City, the same picture I just showed you. And here it's beaming in and showing you, it's like, this is the Cardinal Grand Crossing. I will leave a link in the description field for this beforeitsnews.com article. It's a great article. Let me see if I can find the editor that actually wrote it. See. I don't see who wrote it, but I don't want to go to the next page. But it's a great article. I'll go ahead and drop that off in the description link for you. Now, I want to get you a little, it's a guy on YouTube. His name is Steve Judd from Steve Judd Astrology. Really intellectual guy, really smart guy. And just has some good information for these times. I'm by no means a professional astrologer. He is. So we're going to listen to what he has to say about what's going on as far as this time. And give about a minute to 2 minutes to check it out.
In a half day's time, that's the next temporary flashpoint. Talking to a bunch of astrologers yesterday, individually, and we all agreed that there's something out there. Everyone we know is picking up at some level on some type of intuitive capacity. Something's brewing and no one can put their finger on it, and it's not just a normal sense of collective intuition. To quote someone yesterday, to quote Joe, my apprentice, it's a game changer. And it's very easy to buy into the media and politico spun myth of that game changer being something dramatic, an event, an explosion, a volcano, an earthquake, a war. Anything like this which would act as a major focus of attention. I wonder if it's bigger than that. This, to me, astrologically speaking, has to be one of the 2 or 3 biggest times, astrologically speaking, in human history. This period of 12 to 15, maybe 20 years that we're at the end of this particular phase of the cycle. And in that time, population has almost doubled. Technology has tripled. Spirituality has quadrupled. Psychic space has become crammed. Individuals have had to develop internally because the external fields have become too crowded. More than 3 times more people now on planet than there was when I was born. And it's still escalating. And accelerationist theory, eschatology as well, blended with accelerationist theory, suggests an imminent crunch point, a kind of nexus point of transformation. I really think we're in it right now. Of course, 3 months' time I might be sat with egg on my face, and I probably will be, but something's going on. And this is real. Still feel that we're right in the mix now. We're at the end of, coming to the end of phase 1 of the Grand Cross, the initial opening, the new moon in Aries. Now we deal with Sun opposite Mars for the next 3 or 4 days.
All right. That's my guy right there, Steve Judd. I mean, he's a pretty cool dude. I always like this hairdo. I think it's pretty cool right there. I might do that when I get a little older. But, you can check him out on YouTube, Steve Judd Astrology. Like I said, this video is going to, it's going to be a lot of different things. So I don't want you to get, caught on one aspect of I'm just going to be talking about the Grand Cross or anything, but I want you to listen to the words of what he's saying and correlate that with what I'm about to, unveil to you next. All right. Now we know we have a Grand Cross coming up. It's a huge astrological event. The whole world of astrology is looking at it, and it's a game changer. You have somebody that's been in astrology for 35 years, I believe he said, something like that. I don't want to disrespect his length of time in the field of his profession, but however long he said he's been in this field. But we know that this is a game changer. Just type it in, check it out. It'll let you know, hey, this is a big event. This big event is not being covered by the media, and yet we have the Pope, the Queen, and the big event that's not being covered, all pictured together in the month of the big event that's not being covered by the media. But if you go on on the internet and on YouTube, it's kind of buzzing a little bit. No media coverage though. All right, let's move forward. If you don't know what executive orders are and the National Defense Resources Preparedness, um, you need to look that up. It's right here on the whitehouse.gov website. I will leave a link for that. You need to get yourself familiar with the freedoms that will be taken away from you, about the authority that will be delegated over you, down to the worth of your property and the fact that it won't be your property anymore. Um, Pretty much, I mean, we even get into the part where I believe somewhere in here, it's letting you know that. Let me see here. Secretary of Labor. Okay, the Secretary of Labor, in coordination with the Secretary of Defense. I mean, pretty much this is for the draft into the military. Labor is work related. That has to deal with most of you and I's civilian base. Um, and for the labor guy to be getting with the defense guy, that's not something that you really ever want to see you when you execute, when you have executive orders or when martial law is executed. If you don't know what martial law is, I will leave a link for that as well, so you can get yourself familiar with the term martial law. The whole point of the executive orders that can be passed by the president are to impose martial law. If you have martial law, you effectively have just created a dictatorship that can't easily be lifted. There is not any real way to lift that dictatorship, um, unless it's by force. Once it's done in paper, it can be enforced. If it is enforced, um, it has to be removed by force, as we noticed with the Nazis in Germany. This is no different. I mean, Hitler rose to his position through propaganda and through the people loving him and through bringing change and, all of these great things. And then the great deception was he tricked everyone. He tricked everyone to believe him, to believe that he could help them, and it was a class thing. He could help the lower class people to eat better in the food system, and he made them believe dreams that weren't real, that things that he could not fulfill. And at the end of the day, we know how that turned out with the Holocaust. So we're looking at a situation right now where it's turning out to be, there's a lot of striking similarities. I'm not comparing Obama to Hitler, but I'm just saying that there's a lot of similarities between what's being done through propaganda and the public and done through these executive orders, and the amount of power that's being transferred in executive sense to to the head of our country. And right now it's looking kind of rogue. I mean, it's really looking, this is not something that we're really used to seeing. So this is different, and there's all kinds of rumors and allegations that they want to bring Obama up on treason and different things on 25 counts of treason. I mean, you could do the search for that if you want. Um, they have a lot of grounds too nowadays. I mean, there's a lot of constitutional things that have been done that are questionable. They've all been done in the name of, justice, all in the name of protecting the country. But at the same time, we're looking at something that can be considered digital eugenics. It's almost digital enslavement. And when you talk about digital enslavement, it gets bigger than just the United States. We're talking about a eugenics, a eugenicist ran world that's real value, which is fake, is based on digital content and on everything being digital, effectively turning humans into computers. It sounds drastic. It sounds like a sci-fi movie. But if you go look at my first documentary, uh, you know, Army veteran breaks code to the New World Order Part 1, you will see that RFID technology is here. It's already been implemented in UK. It's happening it's happened in the United States a couple times. Now they're trying to bring it in a medical aspect under the Affordable Care Act through Proteus and Avery Dennison. But you can see these things are happening. This is not science fiction. This is not something that's just made up and people are wasting their time with information. There's a lot of good truthers out there that are giving this information, so hey, look, be on the lookout. Things are happening. Don't be fed everything that you see on TV, because that's not going to help you live your life effectively. The TV is meant for propaganda. The TV is some of the same things that they were watching over there during the Holocaust. TV. So I'll tell you, TV and radio. I'm sorry, radio. Um, any forms of sound and visual that they can influence you through, they will. That's the point of all of this, is control. So if you can keep people controlled, you can kind of do what you need to do under the cover of executive orders and all kinds of things, and people won't notice. They'll think that they're being saved or feeling safe. So let's move forward. All right. In case you guys didn't know, there's been some changes where they're trying to push forward now for they're they're introducing some new stipulations, or they want to introduce some new stipulations to see Obama's presidency last. Now, that's not supposed to happen. It's not the system is not designed for him to go over 2 terms, and it's not designed to go that way for a reason. When you start talking about the lean of power and how good it is in the people's eyes and for the people, it's not something that we should really get into. It will start to look like other countries, and that's not what we want for our democracy. But that could be the great trick of democracy. I don't know. But there's trying to push forward this agenda for him to, you know, have his presidency last past his 2 terms. Now, there's all kinds of things. Like I said, there's rumors of 25 uh, reasons for treason or something like that that they want to impose on Obama. I don't know if it's going to happen or not, but I've heard rumors of it. But you know, we're looking at, one of them is the legalization of peacetime martial law. There should never be peacetime and martial law together. Martial law is reserved for very threatening situations. Martial law should be still closely watched by our delegated officials that we've elected to go to be at the White House with the president. Um, you know, now martial law, based on these executive orders, is a lot more powerful. And if you add martial law, a lot more power to martial law, and then you put peacetime before it, what the heck is going on? Why? why would we want to do that? And again, we go back to the National Defense Resources Preparedness Act. And that's what I was showing you. Where was that at? Back here, one tab back. So this is right here on the White House's website. You need to get yourself educated on what this means and what this could possibly mean, for your family too. So I don't want to get too much off on a tangent of Barack Obama, but these are things that are facts. You have to understand what's going on here, okay? All right. Now, what I want to get involved in now is, just recapping, going over the information in 20 seconds. We have a Grand Cross. The astrologers have agreed that this is a huge event. People are chirping about it on YouTube, on different social media sites, and we know it's a huge event. It's agreed. The media is not talking about it. There's almost what you would call a little bit of a blackout about it. There's been a diversion with MH370. People are still talking about that, and that too has, like I said, that has its is links in something that's not too good either. So now we have to, ask ourselves, well, where is all this going? Why are these people hiding this from us, this huge event? And what's going on? So I did a little research. Now, my research brings me to this. It brings me to the FEMA, to the Federal Emergency Management Agency. Now, I searched for the dates surrounding the actual Cardinal Grand Cross, and we came up with April 22nd to the 24th. So I said, okay, let me see if Washington has anything going on April 22nd through the 24th. And that would be, actually, let me just pull that up for you so you can see that. There you go. I did a couple different searches. I think I did one with a hyphen, one without. All right. Now we see we have a few things that actually come up. Let me see if I can show you one here. I think I had one over here. There you go. We see a couple different emergency, FEMA Emergency Management Institute, EMI. They're having a virtual tabletop exercises event, okay? Now, virtual tabletop exercises, all that pretty much means is they're going to be sitting in a video teleconference room, and they're going to be linked in with other sites that are going to be participating in a wide-scale event. Okay, that's the virtual tabletop exercises. I used to be a video teleconferencing coordinator when I was in the military too for General Abrams, so I know how these little virtual events work right here. But they all gather together in one big room, and that's why it's sold out. That you can only get so many spaces, and they go through these scenarios. But let's keep going. Now, what I want to show you. Excuse my computer for going a little bit slow while I'm recording this. What I want to show you is on April 22nd through the 24th, there is nothing listed for FEMA. Nothing. Now, the only thing that's listed is Take Your Daughters and Sons to Work Day and Department of Homeland Security's annual Kids Day event. All right. Now we see that this has been dated as of the 7th of this month. Now, I will tell you like this, and I will put everything on this that I love. I checked this event at this event page a couple weeks ago when I initially got the got an idea of this. About actually not even about a couple weeks ago when I initially got an idea of this, and I will tell you, it was here. It was listed right here, and I'm going to show you what was listed right there. All right. Now, there's an exercise that's going on called the National Exercise Program, Capstone Exercise 2014. And through Capstone, they're doing all different kinds of things. I'm gonna leave a link for this in the section, in the description section. You can go to it and read through Alaska Shield, um, just everything that they're doing as far as the what part of the country is that? That's the northwestern region of the country, and Alaska is concerned. That lies along the Indo-Australian plate, which there was an earthquake in Alaska some time ago. There was like a 9.2 or something like that earthquake up in here that just really rocked Alaska. So they're they're centering a lot of things right now. Here you go. Let me get back to the page. There. Through this exercise, they're centering a lot of their resources right now around Alaska, around some nuclear weapon exercises, um, all different kinds of exercises on continuity plans in case things go down, and how to bring them back up, and how they will run if they're brought back up, because they won't run through conventional means of government. Obama has effectively placed a civilian force in place, just like he promised that he would, that can replace the government overnight. Um, just to be honest with you, the government would just about be obsolete overnight with the kind of organizations that he's put in place. FEMA, Obama, FEMA, and the organizations that he's put in place can run this country right now. They can run this country, literally. We don't need the House of Representatives or Congress, or we don't need any of those guys. Obama, FEMA, and the organizations that he's put into place are enough to run this country right now, because Obama already has the military. Okay? So we see right here that there's the last exercise here is the Silver Phoenix. The Silver Phoenix combination of operations and discussion-based exercises will examine the full range of recovery efforts and operations commencing upon the notification that a catastrophic incident has occurred. The exercises will explore the challenges associated with examining, prioritizing, and conducting recovery activities involving multiple geographically dispersed and competing events using the National Disaster Recovery Framework. It's a mouthful within 2 sentences, but what it's saying is this: catastrophic incident. This is what you want to key in on. I'm just going to show you, how not to get caught up in all the jargon and what you want to look for, okay? Catastrophic incident, exercises, examining, prioritizing, and conducting recovery activities, and multiple, this is the biggest terminology, multiple geographically dispersed and competing events. Multiple geographically dispersed and competing events. Competing means they have just a different degree of difficulty, a different level. Each one has a varying degree of difficulty. That's what it means, competing events. As far as competing for the time and the effort of the of FEMA and their requirements of what they can put out. This is a mouthful, but this says a lot. If you're talking about an incident of multiple geographically dispersed and competing events, and you're talking about bringing all these people together in an effort of continuity, this is the biggest exercise that's ever been performed by FEMA. The hugest exercise. We're talking multi-state. We're talking on every level. As a matter of fact, when you go through April 22nd, Tabletop FEMA, you will see that in different states, yes, they are preparing for some exercises too that are that are going to be pandemic exercise is related. So we're looking at something that is a pretty significant situation for FEMA between the 22nd and the 24th of April 2014. It's undoubtedly something that's a pretty big event. Now, like I said, they've removed it from their website. It was here. I put it on everything that I love. It was here. And I thought that it was odd that it was here that this event, Silver Phoenix 2014, was on this website just before the same website, on the FEMA website. This is the information for the employees for the employee events for April. It was on the same website just above the Take Your Sons and Daughters, Daughters and Sons, to Work Day 2014. Now, the funny thing is this. This is a FEMA event, and if we even read this event, 2014 FEMA will join agencies around the globe to celebrate the 22nd annual Take Our Daughters and Sons to Work Day. Around the globe? Take your daughters and sons to work? Okay. During the April 22nd to 24th time frame, where you're hosting an exercise that, where's that exercise at? When you're hosting an exercise that is going to be one of the biggest exercises that you've ever had. Now, there's a couple of websites that do list this exercise because it was up there, like I said, and they did remove it. So let me see if I could go to one. Okay. Here you go. EMI, Opportunities, Emergency Management Training Opportunities for FEMA, Instructional Presentation Evaluation Skills. We have something going on at Yellowstone Conference Room, April 22nd to 24th. FEMA will be at Yellowstone, April 22nd to 24th. Let it be known that I just said that. So we've been having earthquakes at Yellowstone lately. I don't know if that has anything to do with the Indo-Australian plate and the stress that it's causing along those lines. And I mean, they're getting huge pops and 300 plus earthquakes in one location, another 100 plus on the other side of the planet. Something's going on. But we're having these guys at Yellowstone, April 22nd through the 24th, as they're pulling off one of the biggest FEMA-related events. We're talking about the Silver Phoenix exercise, which is a part of the capstone exercise for 2014 for the National Exercise Program. So this is a lot of information, and the levels of information are meant to discourage anybody from really researching it. And you look at a couple things, you're like, oh, well, that's not about me, so I don't understand it, and I'll just let it go. Well, this used to be about me. I've done FEMA courses before when I was in the military after 9/11. I've lived a very wild civilian kind of life. I've done a lot of things in life. Some I'm proud of, some I'm not proud of. I'm not a perfect person. But one thing that I've always known is I love to find the truth, even about myself. And I'm always honest about both the truth about me and the truth about what's going on out here in the world. And I want to enlighten everyone else to what's going on too. So moving on from this, let's see if we have anything else. We have the FEMA L141. I'm not really sure what that stands for, just to be honest with you. We'll see, April 22nd to 24th. These guys definitely have something going on for FEMA this day. You'll see the city burning here, and there's something going on that we don't know about. And here's more definitive proof right here, and I think this is probably one of the better forms of proof. If you go to content.govdelivery.com, you will see here, still listed, is the Silver Phoenix Tabletop Exercise, Washington, D.C., April 22nd through 24th, 2014. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the smoking gun. It's right here in your face. It's telling you that this is happening. This is not made up. This exercise is going down. Okay? Now, if you go to FEMA's website, again, I will say it was on their website and now it's not there. To take your daughters and sons to work day is still there. The DHS, Department of Homeland Security Annual Kids Day event is still there. And they actually added this event because that wasn't there either. But you know, we in this prepare-a-thon, that's pretty funny too, because this is also building the success and preparedness of the READY campaign. The goal of America's Prepare-a-thon is to build a more secure and resilient nation by getting more Americans to understand what disasters could happen in their communities and what to do to be safe and prepared. While this all may sound like this is being protective of you, this is also enslaving you at the same time. This is creating the shadow force behind the government. There are people in your local communities that are signed up to some of these organizations that are going to be, when martial law is declared, it's going to just be ran by Obama. Just to be honest with you, there's not going to be anybody else that they're going to have to answer to but Obama. So they better do as they're told under martial law, or they could be imprisoned at one of maybe one of FEMA's fine detention facilities or re-education facilities, which there's about 1,000 of them now, and I believe they house like 50,000 people. I mean, we can imprison 50 million people right now just for no reason. So, you know, there's definitely a problem going on. This is such a replica of the Nazi world that you know it doesn't even it defies what we know as a democracy in the United States, and people should be fired up. People should be angry about this. People should be angry that um, corporate powers and organizations are starting to take place of what they're not starting. Actually, they're ending. They're about to start their own reign of American values and traditions and what we're really supposed to be about as people. And this is from a group of people, a very small group of people, banker related, that want control, and they're effectively getting control by getting it passed through policy through quite a few of the last few presidents we've had. And they're going to get absolutely everything they want under Obama because, unfortunately, like the movie, the movie The Obama Deception is true. It's a big deception. He catered to the lower band of people, to the people in the lower class community, the grassroots, everybody that needed something. He was their savior. And at the same time that we gave him the permission to do whatever he wanted to do. And whatever he's done is also a product of what we've allowed him to do. So, it's not too late. I'm sounding the alarm today. I don't know if this is going to reach everybody in time. We'll see what happens. I hope martial law isn't declared between April 22nd through 24th. But we'll see what happens. I know that there's an exercise that is a national exercise that's going on. And from what I'm seeing is it's going to be more than just a national exercise because FEMA will be joining agencies around the globe while they bring their kids to work at the same time and perform a national exercise. Now, I wouldn't be talking about any of this, and none of this would be relevant at all in any kind of aspect if it didn't matter for the Grand Cross. The Cardinal Grand Cross, the Pope, the Queen, Cardinal Grand Cross, Queen, Pope. By the way, Obama met with the Pope too, same time. There's just not a picture, I don't think, of Obama with the Pope in front of the Grand Cross. But let's put it together. Let me keep it in line for you. Queen, Pope, Grand Cross. No media coverage. We have a professional astrologer telling you the Grand Cross is significant. This is a guy who's a professional. Listen to a couple of his, a couple of his blogs. Even if you don't believe in this stuff, it's still good to get information. I mean, just because you believe in what you believe in doesn't mean that there's no truth in anything else. Get that ignorance out of your mind. Let go of that. So, he has good information, and when he's telling us there's something significant um, in astrology relating to the Grand Cross. Queen, Pope, picture of the Grand Cross in the month of April. Astrologers letting you know, hey, there's something going on in the skies. We have the National Exercise Program going on, Capstone Exercise 2014, Silver Phoenix 2014. And that's going to be going, here you go, Silver Phoenix Tabletop Exercise is known as a tabletop exercise. That's going to be in correlation with, just show you this real quick. Oh, I'm sorry. With Alaska Shield, and pretty much everything that you see here is going to be happening at one time right here. This is huge. It's big. It's pretty big. There's going to be a lot of remote sites that are going to be tied in. FEMA employees are going to have their kids in this city on this day. There's a lot going on there. Now, let's take it one step further. We have the Queen. We have the Pope. We have the Cardinal Grand Crossing. We have no media coverage. We have FEMA removing the Silver Phoenix Tabletop Exercise, which is a national exercise, the biggest exercise that FEMA has ever done. National exercise has been removed from their actual page of events of what they're doing this month. Okay, we have FEMA employees bringing their kids into town for fingerprinting and ID badges and all this kind of good stuff. Let's take it a step further. Now, while this national exercise is going on during a time that astrologers are telling us something possibly the hugest event in the history of mankind could happen in astrology, we also have another situation that strikes me as odd. All right. Now, when I open this, you're going to look at it funny, just like I looked at it funny. I did a search for where Obama would be on that same time frame. As of April 4th of 2014, Japan is to host Obama as state guest on April 24th and 25th. Now, in order to get to April 24th, 25th, Japan is quite a good flight, and I'm sure he's going to want to probably get there to leave by the 23rd. But if you leave by the 22nd, you can arrive by the 23rd, just like it says right here. So it's, the exact date of his arrival is unknown, but he may arrive by the 23rd, which means he's leaving on the 22nd. Now, do you mean to tell me the same day that the National Exercise Program Capstone Exercise is going on? We're talking about let's go back to it again. I want this to burn in your brains. I want you to see what I'm talking about. If history has taught us anything, is they show us before they do it. The Silver Phoenix exercise is going on. I mean, this is a huge exercise. And on that same day, that very same day that the exercise is going on, the Silver Phoenix Tabletop Exercise, Washington, D.C., April 22nd through the 24th, Obama is leaving and going to Japan. What kind of sense does that make? Now, I'm not one to say anything about what he has to do in Japan, but if you read this article, it will clearly tell you that Obama will be the first U.S. president to visit Japan as a state guest since Bill Clinton in April '96. He's going to be taking a tour of South Korea, Malaysia, and the Philippines. Um, there's there's a lot going on here, man. We're talking about cybersecurity and space cooperation. With Asia. Now, that just strikes me as odd. I'm sorry that you would be flying over the Indo-Australian plate. Let's go to that. Okay. Sorry, I'm not all the way organized. Like I said, this has to be just done. I have to just put all the information together and give it to you. You'd be flying over the Indo-Australian plate on the day of February 22nd. I'm sorry, of April 22nd through the 24th. You'll be in this region, the most volatile region of activity in the world right now, on a day where your nation is going through a program, an exercise program that is the biggest security program it's ever went through, but yet the head of the country is leaving to go to Japan over the most dangerous area where a natural event could or could not happen. I don't know about you, but it just raises too many red flags for me. What's going on? Why are we not getting any media coverage of any of this? Nothing that I'm talking to you about is in the media. Nothing. I had to go to a Japanese newspaper. .co.jp means it's in Japan. It's not here. I'm in the Japan Times news that's letting us know this is what's going on. It's not in an American newspaper that Obama is leaving to go to Japan, but it's in Japan that he's coming to Japan from America. You have to understand the flow of information. You have to understand what's being delivered to you and what's being deliberately held from you. There's a reason for these things. And if you're not doing your research, you'll never catch it because you won't know. Because the people with the masters and the doctors and doctorate degrees and things like that, they work together. They're this guy. They are the brains of the world. You and I, most of us, we've completed high school, have some college, some of us have graduated, some of us have not. But we're average Joes compared to these super thinkers that are imposing different ideologies on us that we haven't agreed to. They're definitely not based in our religion and in our faith for the most part for most of us, and but yet they're done under the same veil of our religion um, and our faith. I mean, that's the ultimate deception behind this. So, I just want to get into, uh, a couple different things here. Like I said, let's just do a recap real quick. We have the Queen, we have the Pope, we have the Cardinal Grand Crossing. It's going to happen we're looking at a time frame between the 22nd through the 24th of April. During that same time, FEMA has taken off their website the biggest exercise that they're going to be doing during that time frame. And that exercise is called the Silver Phoenix Tabletop Exercise. They've taken it off of their website of events. Okay. Um, during that, and also during this huge time of the Cardinal Grand Cross going on, we're not getting, like I said, any media coverage, and we're getting one picture, a very significant picture, the Pope and the Queen in front of an obviously valuable painting of the Cardinal Grand Cross, a depiction of the Cardinal Grand Cross. Um, there seems to be a world acknowledgement of this event on the level of top level government and top religious levels. Why does the world know about this event at the tippy top levels and it's disseminated through the players of the event, but at the same time, we know nothing else as normal people? What's going on? It tells us right here on RiskMap, National News Flash, we're having this event, but yet it's ripped off of the website. I have a friend that is in DC, and just this past weekend, she did tell me, I believe it was Friday night when she was getting off, that there was definitely movement in the city. There's movement in DC. Something's going on. I'm sounding the alarm. If you believe me, you believe me. Look into it. But there's a change coming. There's a change that we haven't seen before. We don't know about it because most of us are asleep. I haven't seen this information that I'm giving to you. I've been piecing it together for a little bit now, and it just so happens to be the day before everything is going on. As you can see, it's April the 21st that I'm getting it out to you. So you have time to look at it. I'm hoping this gets to the right ears and hands. I'm not saying that we're going to have some kind of super event or anything like that, but I am saying that what we're up against right now, whew, we're up against change right now. This is a battle of the mind, a battle of the spirit, a battle of the soul. And right now, normal people are losing. We're being controlled. We're being controlled by the powers that be. They're throwing their symbology around. They're flaunting it to us just carelessly, recklessly, because they know that they have us in a trance of being sleep. We're sleep. We're stuck. That's what they think. But there still are some good truthers out there. There still are some good people that that they just really want the best for everybody. So not everyone is stuck. Not everyone is uh, bound to this digital system of eugenics that you see happening on a global scale now. Now, to touch on that, in closing, I want to tell you, just, you know, look, guys, you got to understand, this is a, I don't really know how to really say this. You got to understand, this is a plot. This is all a part of a plot. I'm not going to say a story, but it's a part of a plot. It's a part of a plan. This is something that is not going to go away overnight. This is something that people are going to have to address, and they're going to have to accept that it's real. You, you do not control your own world unless you take control of your own world. It's going to be up to you. So that's my information. Detailing what's going on out here. This is one of the organizations, set up under FEMA, community.fema.gov, America's Prepare-a-thon, that event that I was telling you that's going on the 30th. Um, they're gaming up for something, guys. This is, they have hundreds of U.S. local elected officials, mayors, county executives, city council members, etc., that are ready to rebuild America in a time of tragedy, in a time of whatever may happen. Now, this is my thing. We're not being told what's going on. We don't know what's happening. So why aren't we being told so we can prepare ourselves? Why is the government and only certain people in the government being told about this so that they can get prepared for us? What is this for? We're being ushered into something and not empowered. And you have to understand that when you're ushered into something and not empowered, you're liable to fall for anything. This happened already in history, and it's happening again. Wake up. I'm not going to say that the April 22nd through the 24th is going to be the end of the world, but I'm going to say it's going to be a change in philosophy. It's going to be a change in the order of business and the way that things are done. If you don't believe me, that signifies it right there. That signifies it right there. When these world leaders meet up in front of a significant astrological event, and then you have a government that's hiding the fact that they're even doing an exercise related to this significant astrological event, and they're bringing their kids into the city that are being ID'd, they're going to be badged. This doesn't sound good. We're having a FEMA event happening at Yellowstone that day. Doesn't sound good. My mind can wonder and say, well, Are they going to trigger something to happen? But I don't want to say that. But I will say that something is happening. Something's going to happen. We don't know what it is, but I can bet you it will be a change in what we know as a people. Listen, the time to get right is now. If you don't know God, you better get to know Him. I'm going to leave some scripture verses here below that were provided by my mother. I thank Jesus for her every day. Every day, she's my spiritual rock. She keeps me grounded. I go through a lot of research of other religions, politics, military, science, astrology. If you don't stay well grounded, you will lose your mind in all of this secular knowledge. Um, my mother keeps me grounded in these things, so I'm gonna, in respect to her and respect also to the my love of God, and the fact that I do consider myself a Christian. I don't like to say Christian because I know that's a man-made term, and I love God, and I I'm saved. I've been saved for most of my life, so it's something that I took on as a decision as a child when I used to go to a Pilgrim Holiness Church on the corner of Snyder and Mallard in Millville, New Jersey, right up the street from my house. I used to get on a little bus and go there every Sunday, and I believe it was Wednesdays too, like twice a week. And that was my decision. So you can make your own decisions in life, but I'm going to leave some scripture verses here for people that would like to make the same decision that I made when I was a child, and it's helped me to stay grounded through my life and to get through all of this knowledge and information and be able to help you guys out in the understanding that you know um, these people that we elect are really not for us, and the ones that are for us, they're so blind that they don't know what's about to come to us. So it's our place to stand up. It's your place to share this video. It's your place to wake people up. I've done my part. I've created this video. It is took a toll on my soul. I won't get into I can't get into everything that's happened to me in the process of this video. I'll just say that I've even seen things in the sky. If you don't believe that, check my YouTube out in a day's time, and maybe a day or a couple of days, I'll have up a video of just the things that have been happening, the strange occurrences that have been happening. Um, I have I will say this: out of nowhere, I have a very large piece of black obsidian um, in my yard that was down in a little ditch in the back of my yard as I was raking, trying to get prepared for Easter. So this thing has really kind of changed the way I view things because I had an incident that preceded that. That kind of changed things. There's been a lot of game changers lately, and they're all happening around the time of the Cardinal Grand Cross. I don't know what this means. Like I said, I've been staying in contact with my mother. She's my rock as far as my spiritual grounding. And I've been staying grounded. I want you guys to get grounded because I don't know what's going on out here, but I do know that this is a series of events that cannot be ignored. It has to be recognized and it has to be respected. It has to be. You have to respect this knowledge that is being presented to you. And I'm not saying respect me, just respect the knowledge. We are going to be squared, a cardinal grand squaring, where every degree, every planet that touches us is going to be at 13 degrees. The Grand Cross is, this Grand Crossing is 15 degrees, for an example. But the cardinal grand crossing that we're going to experience is going to be a 13-degree crossing. And notoriously, through history, 13 is not the luckiest of numbers. Um, there's more information I want to get into about some effects that the Grand Cross could provide to us physically. And these are just speculations, so I don't really want to base too much on that. I will say, we have something here about will the Earth's magnetic field shift? We have to think about things like that. And these are real scientists that are talking about this, and they give real, evidence as far as these things could happen to us, and what will we do if they do happen to us? You know what? As a matter of fact, I do want to show you guys a couple things real quick because these are things that should be out there for the public too. I don't want you fishing and having to go through this information and figure out what it means. I'd rather just tell you, if you want to sit tight for the rest of this video, sit tight. If not, feel free to take what you've already learned and move on with that and start to research and navigate and develop knowledge in your community about what's going on. I'll tell you this, look for solar energy. Look for solar energy. This electric grid is susceptible to so many things that solar energy is the only thing that will be sustainable for your family. If you do not have solar energy, your life will be difficult. It will be difficult. Trust me. I am looking for solar energy right now as we speak. I will drop a couple links in the description regarding solar energy, regarding how to do it yourself. So, make sure you just look for that. Now, I am actually going to get into a couple of these videos because I want you to, get the definition from me. So, hold tight as you take a second to listen to these scientists and what they have to say about the Earth's magnetic field shifting. And this is knowledge that you're not getting on a daily basis that you should be prepared for in case it does happen, because it could change our way of life. So hold tight and let's just watch this video for probably say about a minute or so, maybe 2 minutes, and we'll get right back to it. All right, let's see here. Okay, here we go.
Heat flux in the core. It would take hundreds of thousands of years, perhaps millions of years, for the field to decrease. And that's not what we see. We see a field decrease which is much faster than that, so there's something else going on in the case of the Earth.
But what? Searching for clues to what's happening deep inside our planet, scientists have turned their attention to a chain of volcanic islands in the middle of the Pacific. Here, there's a record of the Earth's magnetic field that stretches back millions of years. A record not of gradual decline, but of a series of spectacular magnetic upheavals.
Of your sweet magnetic it's the talk that I crave. It's how opposites behave.
On the big island of Hawaii, some of the heat that drives the Earth's dynamo finds its way to the surface.
All right, now I'm in. Okay.
For several years now, Mount Kilauea has been continuously erupting.
Well done.
Scientists from the U.S. Geological Survey need to sample the lava to keep an eye on the volcano.
It solidifies pretty fast, as you can see.
But geophysicist Mike Fuller is interested in the lava for another reason: what it tells him about the Earth's magnetic field. It all begins when the lava hits the sea.
You can see the lavas having moved down from the volcano up here, sometimes in tubes, mostly in tubes. Now we're beginning to see it come out and go into the water and form the very newest bit of the island chain of Hawaii. As this lava hits the seawater, of course, it really chills very, very fast. And a very wonderful thing happens. They actually trap in, they record the Earth's magnetic field.
As they solidify and cool, these volcanic rocks are preserving a record of today's magnetic field. But the volcanoes of Hawaii have been erupting on and off for millions of years, building up the islands. Every layer of lava contains a record of the magnetic field at the time of that eruption. So the Hawaiian archipelago is a hidden chronicle of the Earth's magnetism stretching back 5.5 million years. That record shows there have been many fluctuations in the field's strength, but it contains something else of great significance. When lava cools, as with pottery, magnetic regions form within it. Acting like microscopic compass needles, they record not only how strong the field is, but also in what direction it is pointing. Today, the Earth's magnetic field runs from south to north, which is why compass needles point toward the North Pole, and recent lava flows record a field pointing north. But 50 years ago, when scientists measured the magnetism trapped in older lava samples, they made a startling discovery. The microscopic magnets within the lava were all pointing south.
When we go back about 700,000 years, we find an incredible phenomenon. Suddenly, the rocks are magnetized backwards. Instead of them being magnetized to the north, like today's field, they're magnetized to the south.
It seemed that prior to 780,000 years ago, Hawaiian lava must have cooled within a global magnetic field that was running to the south and away from the north, exactly the reverse of today. The bizarre implication was that at some point, the entire global magnetic field had done a sudden 180-degree flip, completely reversing direction.
It was hard for people to accept. They did not like the idea of the field reversal. It took about 50 years to convince people of this. But eventually, that was established, and really by work on this island, because if you keep on going down, you would find that after about another couple of 100,000 years, then it changes again, and you see this sequence going on.
And as they examined samples from older and older lava, scientists found more and more reversals. On average, one every 200,000 years.
And so by the time people had done that, it was pretty obvious that the field did indeed reverse.
But if the field has reversed so often in the past, it must surely do so again in the future.
That the Earth's magnetic field reverses is an extraordinary phenomenon. But this reversal process is quite common. The last reversal was, 780,000 years ago. Before that, there was one about 200,000. Before that, again, actually less than 200. So in a sense, we are a bit overdue for a reversal.
So is this why the field is growing weaker today? Could it be getting ready to flip? Scientists needed to discover whether there was a link between changes in the strength of the magnetic field and changes in its direction.
It was a very intriguing problem, something that was screaming out for an answer, and computers were becoming powerful enough to actually solve a full set of equations that describe convection in the core of the Earth and how that motion generates a magnetic field.
In the 1990s, physicist Gary Glatzmeyer decided to embark on a very ambitious experiment. He put all the essential facts that scientists had learned about the Earth's molten core into a computer model, dozens of equations describing its dimensions, temperature, viscosity, and so forth. Then he let the model run to see how the magnetic field would evolve over hundreds of thousands of years of simulated time.
It's important to understand just how long these simulations take. Each time the computer solves the equations, it advances the whole solution one time step, and the time step is typically 10 days. And within 10 days, things don't change much, which means you have to do many, many solutions. You have to solve it millions of times, tens of millions of times, in order to be able to simulate hundreds of thousands of years, which is what we needed. One case may take 6 months of running on the fastest computers in the world. I was using supercomputers from the Department of Energy, from NASA, and the National Science Foundation, And no matter where I was, the first thing I do is make sure that computers didn't crash. So it was something I did every day, 7 days a week for over 4 years. And I remember there was a period of time, I believe it was in the fall, and I was traveling to other universities and giving talks. And after a number of weeks, I came back and decided, well, now I need to look at the details of the magnetic field, and realized that it was in reverse polarity. It already had reverse. This is something I didn't expect. So then I looked at many snapshots during the time I was gone and realized that the field did indeed reverse spontaneously. This is the first time it happened. We were very anxious to write about it. It was really exciting.
And as the experiment continued, so did the reversals, every 100,000 years or so of simulated time. And crucially, each time the field reversed, the process began the same way.
What's interesting is whenever it has reversed its polarity, its direction, that happened when the magnetic intensity was very weak. So it was decreasing. Finally, when it was the dipole part of the field was very weak, then the field reversed.
Here was the evidence that what we are seeing.
All right, now you're hearing it firsthand from a scientist. I'm sorry, I know that was a little bit long. It was about at least a good 10 minutes, but it's something that you need to hear. Instead of you going through the whole 52 minutes of watching this, it's not all fun information to watch, but I like looking at stuff like this. But it explains to you, some of the magnetic natures of our planet and things that are going on in our planet. There's a whole system of government that deals with these things, and that's taken care of by the USGS. You can look them up. I believe it's usgs.gov. They keep track of the earthquakes and all the storms and stuff like that. Now listen, there's something going on in the Indo-Australian plate region of our country right now, and there's a great guy that does a great documentary or video on this. He just released it on April 18th. But the Indo-Australian plate breakup triggering global chain reaction. This plate breakup, as you can see, this is Australia, and this is leading all into China right here, and that's Russia up here. This is where Russia gets close to meeting Alaska here, down through Canada, the United States, Mexico, South America. All right? So this area, this region is the Indo-Australian plate. And the reason why we're talking about this and it's significant is because if you're looking at another video that was just posted by Stargazer Nation, and they posted this on April 9th. They post videos quite frequently of just what's going on up there. But we're looking at a solar update of a large unipolar dark gap. Now, this was witnessed at we'll go through this real quick. It's only 20 seconds, so that shouldn't hurt us too bad. But we'll go through this, and I'll show you what we're working with here. All right, don't give me a hard time now. Come on. All right, here we go. All right. Now, as you can see, the reason behind this is, as you can see right here, there's a dark area down here that is just completely unaccounted for. There's a dark gap. Our magnetic intensity around the planet is changing. I mean, If you look through some of Stargazer Nation's earlier videos, they show, pretty much the magnetic intensity dropping on the northern hemisphere of the planet, but this is substantial in the southern hemisphere of the planet, especially when you equate it to the things that have been going on, um, you know, not only just in this month, but also within that region of the southern hemisphere, um, South America, um, uh, north of Australia, that area right there. There's all kinds of activity that is happening, but yet we're seeing a huge decrease in that area, a rather rapid decrease in that area, and we don't know why. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy that's looking at the information that's out there, taking what's available to me, making sure that I get kind of the best information that's available to me, and analyzing it. That was my job for the military. They paid me to do it, and now I do it for myself. I was an information systems analyst. So, just looking at the information here, you begin to see there's something else at play. There's something else bigger that's going on. Now, mind you, this video that we just watched, I believe that video was uploaded in 2011. And if you look at the computer that the guy was working on, we haven't seen one of those since probably the mid-90s or early 90s. So, I mean, about the mid-90s. We don't even use computers like that anymore. But it was an old clip that lets you know they've been working on this for a while. I'd love to see what their what their estimations and and projections are now, 15 years later. Because that appeared to definitely be 10 years, about 10 years old, maybe a little bit more. That lets you, well, it's definitely more than 10 years old actually, because that would have took it back to 2001, and computers like that even then they had better computers than that then. So to let you know, the information we're receiving as a society is based on what they think we can handle or what they want us to know. There is information out there that is letting you know there's more than meets the eye. There's more to this. As this documentary goes on, it lets you know, how would you cope with a world that has 8 North Poles? That's a world that we need to think about, especially when we talk about terms of GPS and traveling and things like that. That changes a world. That effectively changes a world overnight. Not to say that this would happen overnight, but we don't know what exactly causes it. And we have a global incident that's about to happen. We don't know if that could cause it. So we have FEMA pretty much stabilizing their resources, on a day where they're not talking much about it and they remove it from their website. So it leaves the mind to wonder. I'm not going to say that anything's going to happen. I'm not going to say our magnetic poles are going to flip. But I am going to say that there's knowledge out here we don't know about that the government does know about, and they are preparing for those days. If they are preparing for those days, why are we not preparing for those days? There's a problem there. There's a big disparity between the people that have the knowledge and the people that don't. And normally that disparity also has to do with economic differences. So that's why this could be labeled a eugenicist, a digital eugenicist world now, where if you're privy to this information and this knowledge and you're a part of this elite group of people who live in this world of information and knowledge, then you'll probably do pretty well. If you're not, then you will be a part of the people that are left over. You need to check out and Google and YouTube population reduction, and know that these UN meetings that they're having, they're not about growing flowers. These UN meetings that they're having, they discuss topics like population reduction on a global scale. You need to know this. No one's telling you this in your evening news, in your morning news. It's not taught in the math books, social studies, science. But these are real things that are taught at these global summits and these global meetings and discussed, and how can we take care of these problems. If knowledge was disseminated to the people a little bit differently, we wouldn't worry about calling it a problem. Okay? If knowledge was disseminated appropriately to the people, it could empower the people to create a better generation of people to come. And that can happen over and over again. They were able to achieve that in the past until, in my opinion, they got too full of themselves and thought they were God. Kind of like what's going on now. You get wiped out because your foolishness, your man-made foolishness doesn't, it defies God's wisdom and the things that you can't see with the eye. And that's why these scientists are frantically trying to figure out what's going on. But they keep that tied up in the government so that they keep their knowledge held to them. They don't want to have to be responsible for preparing the whole world for a disaster. Then you have to take care of the whole world. Hey, I'm just a guy out here analyzing the information, but I know that we're not properly equipped. I know that the same money that they spend to win elections, Obama spends billions to win elections, is the same money they can spend educating the public about what's going on and how to better protect their families. We're worried about small things in protecting our families, but we have things that potentially could change mankind. And if we take little steps like solar power, and then really take strong initiative behind informing the lower class communities and the communities that don't have as much money and affluence. If we inform them, hey, listen, you can get solar power this way. If we had a world that didn't revolve around the medical system, they're about to combine the medical system and technology together, and that's world enslavement. And they're going to monitor that on a global level. That's the mark of the beast that people have been talking about for ages. And I speak about that in part 1 of this documentary series, but you got to catch up to it. You got to catch up and figure out what's going on. There's something going on here. There's more than meets the eye. You can't watch all these shows and sports programs and reality shows and game shows and singing shows and dancing shows. Yeah, it's great to be involved in those kind of things too, along with everybody else, to be a part of life. I like a lot of shows myself, but you have to find the time to find what's true. You have to plan out your future for tomorrow. The government is not going to do it for you. They're going to protect their interests. And in the name of power, there's a such thing called false flags. They're going to create some incidents that are going to not be in your best interest. You got to figure out what you can do to protect yourself from, I hate to say it, from your own government, and to sustain your family. This is real. This is not fake. America is not above being taken over by a rogue regime of corporatism. It's not above us in any kind of way whatsoever. This is Hitler's plan with a corporate stamp on it on a global level. You figure it out. I'm giving you all the pieces. I'm all talked out. I'm done really saying what I have to say. Everything that I'm talked about, it will be detailed. It will be linked to descriptions will be put in there. I'll add a couple extra links for these things that you keep seeing me click through. We have to wake up to information and knowledge. We found our government guilty of murdering Martin Luther King, and no one has still done anything about it. We have a guy that's telling us openly, go to 840 of Andrew Thompson, Healthcare for Everyone Everywhere. Go to 840 of that speech. Go to 830 and just play it on for a few minutes. He's going to outline to you digital eugenics, urbanization and affluence. This is the pinnacle of what I'm talking about, and this is how the guys at the top look at it. They want to combine everything on a global scale: healthcare, and technology and the military. That's what you're being given. You're going to be given Obama, FEMA, medical, army. That's your new world. It's not necessarily going to be the whole hierarchy of power, but it is going to be the part of hierarchy of power that you will have to adhere to, because above Obama, they'll be somewhere else. We're going to be a third country nation. You don't know that, but our dollar's going to collapse soon. We're going to be a third country nation. Watch out for the heartbleed virus. They're hoping to collapse our financial sector with a virus. A virus can collapse our financial sector. And with the things that are going on in China and how it's rippling through England right now, and Europe, it's not long before it hits our shores. I wouldn't be surprised if the heartbleed bug was a part of the reason why it's hitting our shores. So, like I said, we have FEMA in place April 22nd through the 24th. They're ready to rock and roll and do their thing with their national exercise. We need to get the information out that this is going on. If you see anything happening between April 22nd and 24th, know that it's a possible false flag. Please know that the national news flash from FEMA may be a possible false flag. Now, I'm not saying anything's not going to happen or anything is going to happen. I'm not saying any of that, but I am suggesting that these are the earmarks for things to happen. This is normally the information that comes out after an event happens. And people say, oh, well, this is what I found, and they find the residue of what was left over, as they try to scrub this information off of the websites. And people get little bits and pieces of information and throw it in their YouTubes. I'm letting you know this is mapped out to show you that these things correlate on a global level. There's something going on here that we don't know about. There's something, even if the world doesn't end, which I'm pretty sure that it will not end on April 22nd to 24th. Again, it will not end. But something will change, and the changes are already taking place. Well, thanks for paying attention. Thanks for watching. I hope you got some good information out of this. Go look up Silver Phoenix Tabletop Exercise, Washington, D.C., April 22nd to 24th. Look up the Grand Cross. Find out what that's about. Go show my man Steve Judd some love on his channel over there. I've been watching a few of his videos and getting some insight to what he has going on. He's very insightful man in the field of astrology if you're interested in that kind of stuff. So I appreciate him letting me use his clip even though I didn't ask him. But again, like I said, I want to be like Steve Judd. I'm going to get the cool hair. but go look this information up. Japan Times. Obama's going to Japan on the day that we're having a national exercise. The National Exercise Program is hosting the capstone exercise. And essentially the Silver Phoenix part of that tabletop exercise, Silver Phoenix. So that's a national exercise. Going to involve a lot of key players and big players. These are the terms you can search for on Google right there. You have to look how FEMA is not just the Federal Emergency Management Agency. They've gone outside of FEMA now. I mean, this is on training.fema.gov. Don't ask me why they have a NASA image here of the world. Fine, cool, not worried about it. But let's go on with the EMI leads training discussions with 6 Asian countries. That's the Emergency Management Institute with FEMA. Now, I'm going to tell you now, we have some players. I mean, EMI is nothing but FEMA just joining up with international players on an emergency management situation level where that can be also doubled as a police state for the globe. And if we're talking about a police state for the globe, Obama has put the perfect thing together for EMI, for FEMA. So, you know, guys, get well versed on the knowledge that's out here. Check out this site here for the employee events for FEMA for this month. I want you to go to all that information. I'm going to leave the links for you. Check out this Prepare-a-thon. For you people that are going to join, you know, they say, hey, you know what, forget this. I'm joining the New World Order. Hey, do it. That's up to you if you want. You know, also check out my first documentary or first YouTube documentary about this. You're going to be chipped up soon. That's what they're doing. They've already passed the, tried passing something recently here for us veterans. Or actually, it's been passed, I believe, where they want to include the RFID implants within the implants of veterans now. That's tracking for life. You know what I mean? So these things are going down. It's up to you to get well versed on the knowledge. I want to just talk till I'm blue in the face because I want you to understand the importance of what's going on and how this relates to your family and what you have going on and how it relates to whether you'll see tomorrow the same or not. So I'm going to play this last clip in closing and close out from there. Let's see what we can get here.
Was through the Deutsche Bank enforcement, I was alerted to the idea that they're going to possibly create like an internet virus that would attack the banking system. You know, like they're using Flame and Sussnet. And there's a new cousin of these two that is going up.
Uh-oh. I apologize for that, everyone. My apologies for that. You know how YouTube is with their advertisements, but let's try this again. Here we go.
Iran.
Mm-hmm.
And what they would do was, on a Friday afternoon, they would say, well, we have to shut down the banking system because there's a virus in all the banks. You won't be able to use your ATMs over the weekend, but on Monday morning, you'll be fine. Well, if you hear anything like that, you have 72 hours before they roll out martial law.
So wait a minute, Suzanne. You're saying that if you see anything like that in the news media or otherwise, you have 72 hours? Why don't you repeat that, help people understand what that means?
When they're going to roll out martial law, they think that when the financial collapse hits the shores of the United States, they have 72 hours. So with my Deutsche Bank informant and talks with other people in the alternative media, my contacts, I just think that it's possible that a scenario like this, I'm not saying that this will happen, but a scenario like this, and it would give you something to look for, a little red flag to look for. Let's say that the banks also...
Okay, guys. They're talking about it. You have it. This is information. This is knowledge. I'm going to leave you with that. I'm going to let you know that your idea of what security is and how secure you feel right now in your homes and with your current surroundings. I'm hoping that this video shatters all ideas of what security is. The security that these people are providing is false. This is not security. We are not in a constant state of terrorism. This planet is not in threat of terroristic activity just running rampant and taking over everything. There are a handful of people who are pulling the strings to make this happen. Wake up. Wake up, people. I can't wake up for you. Only you can do that. So make sure you visit my website, whoissincere.com. Make sure you check out secretnewworld.com. I'm going to be releasing it, God willing, we still have something of our economy still left, even though God knows we probably should just start over from scratch anyway. But if we do have something of our economy still left, I'm going to be releasing a system here within a couple weeks that's going to be talking about and defining how to move in the new digital economy. It's going to give you a breakdown of how social media relates to the new digital economy and how you can power your social media to to really work for you. So it's a proprietary system that I've developed myself. It's taken me some time to develop it, but it works. There's people that are already out there living this way, partially, um, and they're making good money. They're not going to tell you that they're making money. As a matter of fact, they're not telling anyone that they're making money. But there are a few corporations that know that they're making money, and they're making millions. And when I say millions, I'm sure that it's actually to the point, well, I'm not sure, I know it's billions. It's a hidden multi-billion-dollar industry that everyone should be taking a part of, and if as an educated society, for us to not be taking a part of it is a shame on us. So I'm going to get that system out there to you guys. Make sure you sign up, secretnewworld.com. Thank you for paying attention to the information. All the links will be listed down below in the description. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, Homegrown Sin. That's, again, Homegrown Sin, S-I-N, Sin. Also on Instagram, that's Who Is Sincere. Again, that's Who Is Sincere. And you can follow me on Facebook if you can find me. I don't really give out my Facebook all the time. I do meet new faces when they, come by. I have quite a few people on there. But, follow my websites. Follow me on Twitter, follow me on Instagram, and we can go ahead and begin discussion of any sorts if you like. And I hope that you enjoyed the information, appreciate the information, and I enjoy just getting it off my chest, giving it to you, to be honest with you. I can move on with life and kind of see how this thing pans out. So God bless everybody. Make sure you check the scripture information down below. You can take the same steps that I did when I was a young man. I got myself saved. For you guys that are disgruntled with the church, it's cool. You can be disgruntled with the church. The church didn't build God. God built the church. People messed that up. Get over it. At the end of the day, get back to God. That's what's really important. Get back to God. Get back to the humble nature, the giving nature, and the rebuilding nature that we need to have. We need to